This is the Bates Bobcast, our weekly podcast that takes a look at the week that was in Bates athletics. My name is Aaron Morse, and Tuesday night is the home opener for the Bates field hockey team. We have the full season preview, plus a look ahead to volleyball season as the Bobcats host the round-robin First Serve Classic this weekend. And we preview the women's golf and tennis seasons. That's coming up on part 2 of our fall sports preview extravaganza on the Bates Bobcast. The Bates field hockey team hosts the University of Southern Maine Tuesday at 7 p.m. for the first regular season home event for Bates fall sports. The Bobcats are ranked 22nd in the country, and head coach Dani Kogut gives us a full preview. Dani, this is a team that is very experienced, Bates, that is returning almost everybody from last year. So what's it been like, preseason, getting to work with this group, because they already know kind of coming in what the expectations are, right?
Yeah, it's been a really exciting preseason so far. Not only are they upholding, I think, expectations, but they've certainly raised the bar higher than any season we've ever had before, any program or any team we've had in the program before. So it's been an exciting preseason, very promising. It's very different to come back with almost everyone returning, and it's creating a great atmosphere as we head into our first game.
And of course, you have 3 captains. You have Molly Griffin, Sarah Bussell, and Paige Cody. Tell us about your captains. Obviously, Paige, an All-American last year.
Yeah, so our captains are first and foremost amazing people. So they're really incredible leaders. Paige definitely set the tone on the field last year and was really recognized for that at the end of the season. Sarah is a fantastic midfielder for us. She'll be holding down the center midfield position this season. And then Molly Griffin anchors us in the back. So really nice balance down the field of 3 seniors who have put in a ton of work and dedicated an enormous amount of time to the program. And they're 3 of 8 that we have this year. So really exciting to have 8 seniors on our roster, 8 people who have made really big contributions over their years to the program. And they're certainly setting a really great message for our first years of what we're about and how we perform.
Last year it was a good year, but it was very close to being a great year, if you will, right? So what's going to take to, turn some of those really close games against top-ranked teams just short into victories, you think?
Yeah, sure. So we're doing a lot of work this season actually with, her name's Jamie Robbins, and she's a sports psychologist. She's a professor down south. She works with USA Field Hockey and a number of athletes from professional to high school level, so all across the board. And she's really working with our team on just focusing on what we can control, coming back to our core values, coming back to the fundamentals that make us who we are, and really holding on to those throughout the season and not getting too caught up in anything else. And I think when you are constantly grounding yourself back on what got you to where you are, it creates a very steady and consistent style of play and performance.
And then tell me a little about you're just getting off the bus coming back from Boston, right?
Yeah.
But you flew into there from Canada, right?
Yeah. Yep. So we literally just got back 10 minutes ago. So it was a whirlwind of 5 days, an amazing experience. We can't thank the University of Toronto staff enough for putting together such a great experience for us. But we were able to compete with them on Sunday in a scrimmage, train the days prior on their beautiful AstroTurf right in the middle of the city, check out their training facility, which is for all of the professional athletes in that area too. So we really got to see a high-level training facility. And it was a really incredible opportunity for our team to get to compete against a great squad. I mean, they have, I think, 5 or 6 currently on the junior national team. So it was a great challenge. We did a wonderful job, performed well, learned some things about ourselves that will hopefully be really helpful as we head into some heavy competition with NESCACs coming up.
So is field hockey a pretty big deal in Canada? I guess I didn't know in terms of that.
Yeah, it's definitely a solid sport in Canada. They have national teams. They play men and women's, which is really different. So U.S. is the only country that doesn't. So it is a really big sport, I think, in a lot of places in the world. Here it just is for our women's teams, but everywhere else it's men, women, children, parents play. It's really a much more a part of a family's culture.
Gotcha. And so with the home opener, I mean, how excited are you to kind of kick off the fall sports season for all the teams here, basically?
Super excited. I mean, we're really excited to have had the opportunity to go to Toronto, and families and alumni really supported us to fund our way there. So to get to come home to campus and have our first game tomorrow is really exciting. And we just got off the bus and did a little cheer, really pumped up for tomorrow and just getting to be back on our turf and back on our campus.
Well, you have a number of first years also, so tell us about how they're adjusting so far.
Yeah, so we have 6 really strong first years who came to our program, and they're doing really great. I think they're just meshing right in with the team. They're challenging our returners each day in practice, which is really exciting to see. So in terms of like the trajectory of the program, our coaching staff is super happy with where we're at, and we're just really kind of enjoying watching it all unfold.
Great. What are your thoughts you want to share about the upcoming season we haven't gotten to talk about yet?
I don't think so, but I hope everyone can check out a game or two this season. It's awesome to be back on campus, and yeah, we'll see everyone there.
The volleyball team is home this Friday and Saturday when they host Maine Maritime Academy, Clark University, and Western Connecticut State for the First Serve Classic at Alumni Gym. But before that, they visit Husson University for the season opener Tuesday at 5:30. Head coach Emily Hayes is entering her 3rd year at the helm of the program. Coach, by the time people hear this, you have gone to Canada and returned. But tell me about this Canadian trip you're taking.
Yes, putting myself in the spot that it has already happened, and yet we haven't gone yet. No, we are so excited for this trip for so many reasons. We have a rising sophomore on our team, Emma, who is from Montreal, and we have a couple of French speakers on our team. So it's going to be really, really cool and exciting to get our team away from campus for a couple of days and up to this awesome house to be able to spend some quality time together and on our own, just kind of reflecting and getting excited for the year. We also are going to have a chance to scrimmage against a university up in Quebec, Laval, and then we will be watching the bronze and gold medal matches of the NORCECA tournament, which is a transcontinental tournament with a lot of the professional teams. And so the USA national team will be there, the Canada national team, and obviously a good number of others.
Wow, so what do you hope the players kind of get out of this trip?
Man, I think a couple of things, right? One is, again, just being able to kind of press pause. We've been going hard for, a little over a week now, and just to be able to spend some time getting to know each other off the court and outside of Bates College is going to be really, really cool. And then, we also are obviously wanting to kind of kickstart our season and be getting on the court and playing against another team and then watching some really high level volleyball. And, in a country where I think volleyball is growing, but we want to see it continue to grow, this is such an amazing opportunity to be able to go and support the national teams and see that level of play is going to be really awesome.
Excellent. And then, looking at the schedule early in the season, you open at Husson. When people are listening to this episode, the match will probably be going on at 5:30 p.m. Tuesday, September 5th, is at Husson in Bangor. Are you just going to be swinging by there on your way back from Canada, or are you going to come back to campus first?
Just a quick stop at campus. We're going to come back, practice, have a good night's sleep, and then we are going to go up to Husson and compete. And then the next day is the first day of classes. So just talking about that pause button up in Canada, being really able to just connect with each other, and then we're hitting the ground running.
So tell us about the First Serve Classic. I mean, that's coming up Friday and Saturday at Alumni Gym. Bates will have 3 matches that the Bobcats are involved in, but there's also 3 matches going on between other schools. Maine Maritime's playing Clark, Western Connecticut State's playing Maine Maritime, and also Western Connecticut State's playing Clark as well. So tell us about the First Serve Classic and how that sort of came up to be and what you're hoping to see out of it.
We're excited to host a tournament. We want this to be something that, we think Bates has a ton to offer, as well as just being up here in Maine. We want to get more teams up here to compete against us. And so this is hopefully the start of an annual event and something where we're able to have high-level competition, but also just be able to start our season at home. And so we have some families that are able to come back for this tournament, and just really, really excited to start that competition strong here in Alumni.
And I understand there's going to be a fundraising effort. Is that right, for Hawaii? Because you have a number of players on your team who are from Hawaii, right?
We do, yes. And the devastating fires on Maui have affected, obviously, many, many people. And we're just hoping to bring some awareness to that. And it'll be more than just this tournament, but we're hoping to raise some awareness and some funds to support them, everybody on Maui right now.
And if people want to donate to that effort, how do they do it?
We'll definitely have, things, whether it's in the gym or online, keep on our social medias, and we'll be sharing all of that out there a little closer to the tournament time. We're going to be making some T-shirts and things like that, so there will be plenty of opportunity.
Yeah, so follow Bates Volleyball account on Instagram for all the latest and from the fundraising efforts, for sure.
And TikTok. Shout out our assistant coach, Nat, who is crushing the TikTok.
Absolutely. Okay, so looking at the roster this year, tell us about your captains.
Julia and Chrissy are two incredible human beings who have put in a ton of work from a leadership development angle. They're two people who want to be their very best, not only for themselves, and I would say even that's a lower priority for them, but really for this program. This program means a lot to them, and their teammates mean a lot to them. So they're just trying really, really hard to continue to develop in their own leadership styles and figure out what that is really. And so we've had the opportunity to dive into it over the summer a little bit and obviously throughout the year to be able to just continue to grow that relationship. I think anyone on the team would tell you they've done an incredible job this year of leading this team, in a number of different ways, and they complement each other really well, which is awesome.
Yeah, and it's your third year with both of them, right?
It is.
So what's that been like, kind of, just being your third year at Bates and having some of these players who were underclassmen when you came here now growing into those roles, right?
It's really special. They joke all the time that I'm a junior as well with them. And yes, I mean, it was a larger class that came in. So there are 5 of them that are juniors right now. And it's been incredible to see them grow from a time where there was so much uncertainty, whether we were going to be able to practice or if we were going to have masks on and things like that. And them not knowing who this new coach was coming in to lead them, and then us getting a new assistant. This year's been incredible to have a little bit of stability feel, and you can feel them, kind of coming in confidently onto the court, and it's awesome to see.
So take us through kind of, the lineup and where people kind of fit in. Who are some key players on attack, maybe also defensively in terms of their roles?
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing about this team is it's not clear right now. Like we don't have a definite starting lineup, and while that is can be tough on coaches, it's also the exciting part. It's what players should be doing, is making our jobs hard. So we have 2 talented setters coming in here who are doing a really good job of distributing the ball. Chrissy, who's our junior, and then Logan, who's an incoming first year from Hawaii, and she is doing an awesome job. Something we saw from her in the recruiting process is we just love her decision making, and she likes to take risks offensively and put her hitters in some cool spots. So we love to see that. Offensively, we've got some good depth in all 3 positions. So on the right, we've got a pretty good block going on there, and some competition between our right sides. We've got some left sides who are competing really hard. And then in the middle, I think we've seen a lot of growth. Sophia's come in from Northern California and brings a lot of power offensively, which is awesome. So she's come into her own there, along with our other 2 middles. And then defensively in serve receive, we've got a great back line. So we have Eden, who came in new, also from Northern California, and she is incredibly gritty back there. So exciting to see everybody kind of meshing with each other, and now it's just kind of figuring out which relationships are working at which time.
So it sounds like a lot of first years could have an immediate impact this year.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I think this is a really competitive roster that we have, which is awesome. And so just seeing a lot of them, competing with each other and recognizing that, the harder we're pushing each other in practice and scrimmages is going to result in us being more successful when we have the jersey on and are playing against an opponent. But some good depth. And so we're excited to see, kind of how that comes into play.
Tell us about your returning libero from last year, Ellie Asada.
Yeah, Ellie has shown a lot of growth from last fall to this preseason. She's an awesome leader, but really, really talented volleyball player. She takes charge of the back row and is a huge threat back there for opponents. So, whether it's her serve receive consistency or her defensive range, she brings a lot to us and will be a huge strength for us moving forward.
And I believe we have a plan to mic her up at some point in the fall during practice, so that should be a lot of fun, too.
I believe so. Yes, Aaron.
Great. And then I guess, what are some points of emphasis so far in practice from you as the head coach? What you've been wanting to see from the team? What you're emphasizing on? What's going to take to have some success this year in the NESCAC?
Definitely. We have the talent, right? So it's continuing to grow that mental resilience piece, and just recognize that when we're that team with the championship mindset, we're the team that can beat anybody on any given night. So this team has worked incredibly hard, both culturally and technically, tactically. And so just to be able to see that and kind of have, the reward of all the hard work throughout the spring, summer, and beginning of the fall is going to be really exciting to see. We definitely have work to do, but as does anybody, I think that a cool part about this team is that we're not settling for anything less than our fullest potential. So we've been breaking a lot of things down, making some changes that are really exciting to see. And now it'll just be kind of working through that. And again, being able to do it against an opponent is exciting in a lot of different ways. So when we get to Canada and we're able to play a couple sets up there, that's going to be awesome.
All right, Emily Hayes, thank you so much for joining us on the Bobcast. And don't forget, folks, Friday, September 8th will be the home opener for Bates. They're hosting Western Connecticut State at 7 p.m. as part of that Bates First Serve Classic. There's also a game that night earlier between Maine Maritime and Clark. So come on out to Alumni Gym Friday and Saturday for the First Serve Classic. Thanks again.
Thank you.
The women's tennis team is home this Saturday and Sunday for the annual Wallach Invitational. Head coach Paul Gastonguay joins the show to give us an early look at the Bobcats.
We have this initial tournament in the season just to really get our feet wet and get some competition against another team. And the way the schedule worked out this year with all the other scheduled championships with ITAs between men and women and the Middlebury Invite and everything else we're doing, this was the only available weekend that worked for the teams involved. And so we're looking forward to getting out on the court. We'll have a few days this week to gear up, but that was the message from last year. We knew this was the schedule, and we talked about coming in early, getting ready all summer so that you're ready to go, and then we'll get to play against some other people on the weekend and help us sort out our doubles for the ITAs. It's going to be a hot week, so we're going to be smart and work our way into it. But they're all in shape. They worked really hard this summer. By the time we get out there, end of the day, 4 o'clock, the sun will be down a little bit, so it should be good. And but we are going to get going right away with match play. And again, everyone knew this, and the goal was to play a lot of match play over the summer, a lot of tournaments and a lot of sets, and come in ready.
Great. And then tell us about your captains on the women's side.
Allie Friedman has been a leader from day one. She's a senior captain and will, impact the top of the lineup. She's been one of our top players over the last few years in singles and doubles. Outstanding athlete and just a great leader. And she's going to be joined by Drew Williams, who's a junior, also a really good leader. And we had a big class in her class, the junior class. And we're excited. 2 great leaders that will work well together and, always set the example on the court year round. They're out there training and working hard in the weight room and going for extra runs, et cetera.
Practice don't start till tomorrow, but what is the first day of practice normally like from your perspective?
I think there's a lot of nerves for everyone. There's nerves from the upperclassmen because they are, concerned about how, they're excited about how good the first years are, but it's also like some added competition, which is what we want. And that's our job every year is to find players that are going to impact high. And so we're excited to see what the newcomers are looking like, and we're very excited about the new additions for sure.
Well, yeah, speaking of that, tell us about who the first years are, what this group is kind of like so far in terms of, I know you haven't gotten to practice with them yet, but in terms of just meeting with them and whatnot.
Yeah, we've got players from, all over the country. Julie Anderson is from the D.C. area and really outstanding athlete, played ice hockey also growing up, and looking forward to her impacting. And Iris Westmoreland from New Orleans. And then we have Elise Hepburn from Florida and Ava Steinberger from New York. So we're really excited about this group.
Excellent. Now you look at the schedule. Wallach Invitational, we mentioned this weekend. They have ITAs for the women September 22nd through 24th. I know in the past you've scheduled some schools like for dual matches in the fall, maybe like 1 or 2. Is that in the cards this year or no?
It didn't work out this year just with the way the schedule was, and we added a few more contests in the spring during our mini break in March. We have that Wednesday through Sunday break, so we added a few matches there. It's always a challenge in the spring because we have a different academic schedule than all the other schools in the region for the most part, so it's hard to match up, and we always have this sort of black hole in the spring schedule where there's not a lot of people to play, and everyone's in California or South Carolina or Florida, somewhere different because they have an extended spring break. So we added a couple matches that half week, and that'll be fun to compete during that mini break.
Excellent. And we talked about the women, but also the men will be starting not this weekend, but the following weekend at Middlebury. They have ITAs in late September, and they'll have their own Wallach Invitational in mid-October. But give us a little overview of the men. I know a lot of seniors did graduate from last year, so who's kind of looking to step up now?
Yeah, that was a really dominant class. We had 4 starters in the top 5, and just outstanding leadership. But they passed it down to the next generation, and we're going to have Matthew Danielson back in the fold as a really strong player and a captain, as well as Nikki Desai as our second captain. And we have leadership in Alex Gujarati, who is one of the best players in the country. He can do anything on the court, super athletic. And Crosby Burns, who is also super athletic, great doubles player. So we're looking to see those players have more of an impact, but we also are adding a big first-year class because we graduated such a big class. We've got Russell Judge, we've got Philippe Koscielny from Las Vegas, and Will Marshall from Atlanta, Nico Ozer from New York, and Alex Park from Texas, and they're all excellent athletes. Griffin Williams is also joining the squad, and I forgot to mention Teo Sardin, who is one of our returning sophomores, who's a really strong player and was injured a lot throughout the year, so didn't really impact at all. But we're looking to see him in action because he's a very talented athlete, along with Eli and all the other guys on the squad. So looking to see them in action.
And you have a new assistant coach this year. Tell us about him.
Yeah, Harvey McCartney has been an elite high-performance coach, actually coached Nick Forster, who graduated last year.
Okay.
And Nick was a really strong player, kind of a unique style, was ambidextrous, had 2 forehands. And so that was Harvey's MO, so to speak. And he has another player that he works with in Maine, Sam Yoon, who's a really strong player that has the same technique. So it's not that we're going to turn everyone into 2 forehands, but he's a really good high performance coach. Great on the mentality piece and the fitness piece. He played college tennis, so he's raring to go, and we're really excited for him to be with us. And we're also Nick Forster is going to be a volunteer assistant and help out with the guys team. So he's local, so it's going to be great to add him on.
Excellent. All right. Well, the Women's Wallach Invitational is this Saturday and Sunday at the Wallach Tennis Center, obviously. Come out and check out some early season tennis as the women, the first years get adjusted to college and the returnees get acclimated again. And, of course, we'll have the men in mid-October. Paul Gastonguay, thank you so much for joining us on the Bobcast to preview the season.
Thanks for having me, Aaron.
Women's golf also opens up its season this weekend with a short trip to Brunswick for the Polar Bears Shootout. Director of Women's Golf Abby Spector is excited about her team's experience and talent. Well, women's golf back in action this Saturday, in fact, as the Bobcats are headed to Bowdoin for the Polar Bear Shootout Saturday and Sunday at Brunswick Golf Club. Abby Spector with us here to break down the new season here for Bates. And first of all, Abby, this is your third year now leading the women's golf program. So how's it gone for you? You know, the first 2 years kind of having, not necessarily coached a college team before, but having a lot of experience, coaching individual players through the years.
This has been the best job I've ever had. I love coaching these women. We are having a great time and everyone is growing and getting better. It's just all pure excitement right now with how much our team is changing and growing.
Excellent. Then, you have a lot of returnees from last year. So tell us about what you're excited to see from them.
Well, we do have some senior leadership this year. It's going to be really exciting to see what they can put together this year. We also have 2 incoming first years that I'm very excited about. We have a great team chemistry and everyone has been working hard all summer. So I'm excited to see what they can do this weekend.
Yeah, I know Alex Voigt-Shelley is one of those senior leaders. I know she's qualified for NESCACs a couple times in her career. And what are you hoping to see from her senior season, perhaps?
She is a great player, and I know she wants to have a really good year this year, and I expect that she will. She's been my most steady player throughout the years, so I expect she will continue to be steady.
Excellent. I was going to ask you actually, like, what's part of her game is kind of her strength, sort of what stands out?
It's her steadiness. She always shoots around the same good score, and I can just count on that happening. And I don't want to put pressure on her, but she might even have a breakthrough year this year and go low. She's been very close in the past, and really excited to see what she can pull together this year for sure.
Yeah, so she's a senior, but then you also have Maddie Quay and you Ruby Haylock coming back, and those two both had medalist honors last season at individual tournaments. How exciting was that to see them win those tournaments?
That was so much fun. We had so much fun at those events. Winning always makes it great. Seeing how well the women are playing makes it a lot of fun for me as a coach. And I know they of course, having a win makes it even better.
We have new this year, director of men's golf, Sean Warren. I understand you played a big role in kind of helping him bring him to Bates. We have two of the best golfers in the history of Maine, I feel like, running the Bates program. So what's it like to team up with Sean to kind of, run this golf program?
I'm really looking forward to working with Sean. It was a big loss to lose Brendan. I really loved working with Brendan. We really worked well together. I think Sean will be a great replacement for Brendan as far as that goes. He's an excellent golfer, which I don't even have to say, it's obvious. And he's an excellent teacher, which makes it even better for the players and for me to work with. And I'm very excited to go through this season and see how this goes. Absolutely.
And one of the headlining events for the women's golf team this year is you get to host an NESCAC Fall Qualifier, which is October 7th and 8th at Martindale Country Club. Last spring, the men hosted the NESCAC Championships, and now the women hosting the Fall Qualifier. The team's been close before, right? I mean, top 4 make the NESCAC Championships. So how pumped is everyone to get a chance to have that home course advantage?
We are all very excited. I'm very excited to host this event at Martindale, have the home course advantage. Absolutely. This is our shot. Things may change after this year. We might not have to have a qualifier anymore. It's sort of up in the air, but this is a big chance for us. We've been so close. Every year I've been here, we've been so close to qualifying. So I think this year that home course advantage will be a big key for us.
And speaking of Martindale, what's that course like compared to other courses maybe the team plays at throughout the year, like a Williams, Taconic, or a Wesleyan, Lyman Orchards or whatnot? How does Martindale kind of compare?
Martindale's a beautiful course. It compares equally with them. It's beautiful and it just as challenging, which is what it is. But, it definitely compares very nicely with all of them. So it will be in everyone's comfort zone. So we'll see. We play it more than they do, though. So that will be an advantage.
Exactly. It feels like, the women's golf program is really growing quite, at a quick pace, I suppose. What's that like from your perspective in terms of, trying to take this program and make it into a force to be reckoned with, if you will, in the conference?
It's very exciting for me. I love that. I'm a very competitive person. So I just want to grow and grow and grow this program, and it's happening and it's exciting. We are coming. I keep telling the other coaches in the NESCAC that we're coming.
Certainly, the Bobcats definitely on the rise here. You mentioned the first years. What do you kind of say to them about college golf compared to what they've played before? Like, what's kind of your message in terms of, what adjustments they might need to make or not, perhaps?
I have an interesting set of first years coming in. I have an international student, so that's a different conversation than the young woman from Massachusetts who's coming. So it will be a big adjustment in a lot of ways for my international student. I have another international student on my team, Nerea, so hopefully she will be able to help her out with any of those big adjustments that have to come. College golf is definitely different than high school golf. We're in the big leagues now. It's more of a commitment for sure. There are more expectations, and the season is short, but it is a lot. It is jam-packed, the time commitments and the travel commitments.
Certainly. Well, any other thoughts you wanted to share on the upcoming season we haven't got to talk about yet, maybe for the Bobcats?
I don't know. I think we're ready to go out and beat Bowdoin this weekend. We're ready.
Is it just Bates versus Bowdoin, or what other schools are there?
There are some other schools there, but we
right.
just want to beat Bowdoin.
Exactly. Yeah. Fair enough. All right. Yeah. Polar Bear Shootout is this weekend, Saturday and Sunday at Brunswick Golf Club. That's where the women's golf team will be this weekend. And then, of course, hosting the fall qualifier in Martindale in October the 7th and the 8th. Abby Spector, thanks so much for previewing the golf season with us.
Thank you.
Next time on the Bates Bobcast, we'll recap the first week of competition for fall sports and preview the football season. The Bobcats kick off against Wesleyan on Saturday, September 16. That's next time on the Bates Bobcast.
Bates, Bates,